Alright, today we're going to change the strut bearing in the wife's van. You'll feel it pull, you'll feel it clunk, and the best way to do it, to tell if yours is gone, is to get somebody to steer it back and forth and watch this spring. Normally you can hear it. This one I can hear and it's pulling. You'll also see the spring jump. Now we're getting the slave laver here to put us back into it. Come on, pull! Push! Put all your weight on it! Come on! And eat your Wheaties this morning. Oh, that's probably good right there. Okay, buddy? Alright, we'll get this wheel off, then we'll take some bolts out. Alright, with the wheel off, we're going to inspect the brakes. They're getting low, but that's not the issue today. 13/16, 2 bolts here. Spray these with WD-40. We're going to come back up. Should just cut that off and not bother trying to reuse it, but we're going to take the cookie grinder and clean the threads out of there. We'll spray that too. And then we'll remove the 10mm nut here, and then, like I said, remove these 2 bolts here, and then we'll take a hammer and knock these pins out. That'll loosen up. The hardest part is the top, is the 3 bolts that are holding it. They're underneath the wiper tray. So give that a shot of spray. Where? Right there. Okay. More? Spray the threads so you get it all. Right here? Yeah. Now don't hold the can sideways though. Like that? Like that, yeah. Okay. Now do the bottom one. Same way, don't try not to miss it. Alright, knock these out. This side is splined usually. So hit that out with a hammer. Try not to damage the threads. If you're scared to hit the threads, put the nut back on it. These are tapered on the end. So, and I got my left hand trying to swing and hold the hammer at the same time. So you can see that it's coming out. Like I said, this is the easiest part of the job right here. 2 of them just like that. And if you get a bolt stuck halfway out like this, you can either put a punch from this end, or I can use the impact gun like this with an open end, pulling on the sideways like that. It'll come right out. Of course I can't do this with one hand, so. Alright, so I just wiggle a little bit. It fell downwards, so just be careful that this doesn't fall out too much. It will pull that axle apart on the inside, so just kind of lay it there like that. Now at this point, if you're still not sure, you should be able to take that strut and turn it side to side. You can see this one's already flexed this way. The wheel was straight when we started and we didn't touch anything, so you can tell that's why it's pulling to the right. And you can tell I can't twist the strut. I had both hands on it. I can't turn it. You should be able to turn that freely. There's no weight on it. Alright, let's get this 18mm out of there next. Alright, this sway bar link, if you're going to try to save it, clean the threads up, because this nut will never come off without doing a little bit of cleaning. I like to use one of these Scotch-Brite pads and just follow the threads. It'll actually make a V into this pad, and then you'll be able to clean half of it anyway. Get the idea, then spray it again. Okay, you have 2 options here. You can try to put an Allen key in the end of that and then take it off a wrench, or you can put a pair of vice grips on the back and use an 18mm socket like I'm going to do. Hopefully it comes out the first try. Like I said, you can also, the other trick is take a cutter wheel and cut the end of the threads right off, even with the nut, or down into the nut, so when it loosens off it'll come right off, and you could put it back on that way. But let's give this a spin up and see if we can save this. See if we can save this sway bar link. They're not expensive. They're only like 14 bucks. We could have just replaced it. We're almost there. Get in there. Ah! I'll get that back together and get it out of there. Okay, with that, excuse the compressor. With that undone, just put it down to the side. Alright, so this is where the fun part starts on these. I may have to take the wiper tray right out of here. I don't really want to do that, but I will if I have to. Let's get rid of the air cleaner out of the way first. We'll have a peek under here. Might be able to sneak it out of there. Okay, it turns out you don't have to remove your air cleaner. This one's easier than I thought it was going to be. This little plastic screw clip thing, take that out. That goes right here. Pull this up. Now on this side, I should be able to sneak this out with an air ratchet. Looks like 3 13mm nuts, and that strut will come right out of there. Looks easy. The other side, if you're doing the driver's side, you may have to, well, I think you can sneak them out of there too, by the G's. The wiper motor might be in your way. Not sure. I'm not going to take this one up to look, but it looks easy. Alright. Alright, so I'm going to use an air ratchet. You can use a long ratchet, whatever you got. Wrench. Leave one bolt in, and I'll show you a little trick when you're taking it apart. One nut. I'll have to use a ratchet on this too. I don't seem like Alright, with one nut left on the top, I'm going to reach around and hold it. My cameraman, back up a little bit. Alright. One hand on the spring lobe right here. You don't want it dropping down, taking out your CV boot. Try to hold the pressure upwards if you can. It should swing right out of there. And you can see what kind of mess that made. The coil's out of place. You couldn't see that from below. Alright, so the next part of this, you're going to need a strut machine similar to this, or you can buy the tube style that you can put on the ground. I just borrowed this from work. I don't own this. This is probably an expensive piece of equipment. I think some of your parts stores rent them. So let's get this strut in place on the machine. And since we don't have to change the strut or anything, we're going to put the machine underneath the plate so we don't have to fool around. It won't move that way. Alright, so it's in the strut machine. I try to level the base out first. Now if I was going to change the strut, I would turn these around the other way and they would grab that bottom coil spring, but then it would give me less squash power. So try to keep this straight. You can see it's off a little bit, but I'm not going to move the bottom. We're just going to replace the top, and once I'm done, you should be able to turn that strut bearing any way you want. Well, we'll jack her down. Start jacking. Now you want to take a little pressure off it, and then we're going to zip that nut off. Okay, hold it. See that, let go there. We don't want too much pressure off it because you won't get that nut out of there. It'll spin the shaft in the strut, and you don't want to do that because if you spin that too much, it'll take the seals out in there. It'll overheat. Shut off on close. Alright, 18mm top nut. We have a little bit of down pressure. You don't want to take it right off. Let's burp it off, and I sprayed it with WD-40. You can see I'm at quite an angle this way. Let's hope that doesn't screw up when we take this off. It might. If you have to, come in here and hold the top part with the vice grips, but try not to if you can help it. Should come off, just like that. Now we're going to squash it down some more. And as I feared, because this isn't straight where I wanted it to be, we're going to be pushing back on it to get that back on. So we'll cross that bridge in a minute. And the spring did break. That's not a good thing. Okay, on further inspection, the spring did break. So we're not going to be putting this back together like this, because this will just happen again. That's no good. Now I got to try to find a quick strut or a spring today. And it's Sunday, so that might be a chore and a half right there. Not good. The bearing is under here. This top plate just rides on the bearing and turns right here. This thing here is supposed to turn, but probably what it did is seized up. Let's get this out. We'll have a closer look at it. Okay, under further inspection, and here it's pretty rough. What it probably did is it probably seized up. I can turn it, but I still don't trust it. These springs don't break for nothing. I have a feeling that if I rip that apart, you're going to see that it's all rusted. Alright, so under further inspection, it's still clean and good. I don't know why the spring broke. Maybe hit too many speed bumps too hard. I'm not sure. Not 100% sure. It's hard to say, but it's not rusted or anything, so I could put that back in if I wanted to, but I don't think we're going to do that. Okay, little road trip. Found a quick strut, a little cheaper than $3.99. It was still expensive, but this van has over 180,000 on it, so we're not fooling around. If I even found a spring, put a new spring on it, it's still over $100 and some plus another mount. Might as well put a new strut in it. They recommend changing struts every 100,000, so we're just going to slap a new strut in it and be done with it. Okay, just reinstall the new one the way you took it out. Exact same procedure, and this is garbage. Anyway, talk to you guys later. Please comment, rate, and subscribe. Bad strut bearings in your car.